Hi, welcome to IBC 2016. I'm Joe O'Halloran, Editor-in-Chief of Rapid TV News, and I'm here with Marcin Kowalski, board member of SPI, Filmbox and Kino Polska. Welcome, Marcin.
Hello, Joe. Nice to meet you.
Tell us about the job that you have.
Let me tell just briefly what our company does for SPI and Kino Polska as a subsidiary. What do for SPI? We produce the most of the SPI and Filmbox channels, including the latest one, which is 4K, first commercial 4K channel on Hotbird, and we believe, as far as we know, it's the first commercial 4K channel in Europe at all. And we are extremely proud to be able to announce its launch, what happened last Thursday here on IBC. Channel will be free to air until the end of the month, and since then it will be scrambled and available in the best cable and DTH platforms in Europe.
Well, the European market, like the broadcast market globally, has been very, very strong this year. What do you think are the key trends driving the broadcast industry at the moment?
Well, it's a complex question because, as you know, within the last years we had a few false starts. I don't want to torture 3D case here, but it was one of the let's say negative developments that didn't successfully affect the market. And now we consider that definitely the trends will be 4K and growing VOD trend in the market. And we hope it will not end up like 3D, but we are not sure. We are sure that it will not happen because we consider those two areas as an organic growth for the market, while the previous one we consider just as, let's say, kind of gimmick. So we strongly bet on 4K, and we continue our successful story in VOD because SPI, as a initially distribution company, since many years had very, very strong and prominent position as a VOD provider for many platforms, for broadcasters, for IPTV platforms, as well as for over-the-top. So those two areas are our main goals for the strategy, for the global strategy.
Speaking of platforms, it's a whole multi-screen, satellite, IP. How do you deal and manage with the complexity?
Well, the experience of multi-screen consumption of video is itself quite complex subject. What we believe in that there are many ingredients of this experience, and they cannot be, neither of them cannot be separately disregarded. It has to be organism which consist of few working to each other elements. One for sure, as from the perspective of this conference, is technology. It has to be user-friendly, it has to be fast, it has to be effective and open for many platforms. But we also need to remember that there are two crucial factors that are a driver of success of this whole multi-platform environment. It's a, let's say, sales model which has to be tailored to the very variable needs of the users and content quality. And we strongly bet on this especially last element. As a company with distribution roots, we try to deliver as best content as possible, and cooperation between those three elements is a key factor to success and a key factor to make it at all sellable. That's what we think.
Well, also Rapid TV News have been tracking you guys grow for a long time, and what we've seen is you've made a lot of effort into the world of 4K Ultra HD. Now, there's a lot of 4K Ultra HD technology and services around here, but you're like big on content. Tell me what the 4K offer is all about.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Our 4K journey started many years ago. We were, as far as I know, first company as SPI, both as SPI and Kino Polska, what is worth to stress here, which were able to deliver a huge offer of 4K and, or in general, Ultra HD content to the market. Why? Like 6-7 years ago, Kino Polska has launched a dedicated company which is called CRF, in English, it's a digital film repository, which is a local Central European leader in movie restoration. And on the basis of public partnership, we have refurbished fully and restored almost 200 Polish titles from the National Filmothek. And it was the beginning of the journey. It led us to the idea of more looking for 4K content, and SPI at the same time in the background was trying to buy as much as possible for our future plans. And the effect of that, like 2.5 years ago, we launched first 4K VOD package in Europe on LG Smart TV. And for sure it was the first commercial 4K VOD release, and it was the start of our thinking, the beginning of our thinking about the fully linear channels. And until we reached that, of course, many scenarios of different setups were exercised. We had our, let's say, dead ends in that, but we eventually overcome that. And this is the result, which we are very proud of. And the very first initial feedback we got is that this is the best looking 4K channel currently on the market, which we are very happy.
When do you think it's going to be mainstream? Like, you've got this first move advantage, but how quickly do you see the 4K market grow?
Well, we rather bet on evolution instead of the revolution. Let's say that we've been in this business too long to believe in miracles. Therefore, we don't feel that it will be super fast, burstable growth, but we believe that 4K will become one of prominent way of TV reception and content reception within the next 2 years. One of prominent, while if it comes to the final shape of the whole market, we are fully aware that it have to coexist with many, let's say, mezzanine formats. Due to the content availability, somehow to, from time to time, to historical value of some content which simply cannot be remastered. Therefore, 4K will be slowly but surely replacing HD in the whole picture. But still, even SD channels and HD will be exist due to the content availability and multi-screen platforms, which not necessarily require 4K vision on, let's say, small screen, like a mobile screen or even, who knows, smartwatch screen soon.
So we're here at IBC 2016. What's the message for the broadcast industry from SPI?
Well, it's very obvious for us. First message is trust in the quality of service that we deliver and trust in our content. Second message from SPI is that we are extremely open, and we are open for any very versatile ways of cooperation. This is what makes us different from other, let's say, I don't want to say competitors, but contributors in the market. And we are always keen on finding the win-win solutions with every client that we approach, with any of our very various ways of our services. And what's the most important? We get a positive feedback on it, and our growing position within last years, not only in Europe but also on other markets, because we are becoming more and more recognizable and strong in US, South America. Now we had Asia, Middle East, where we already present on several DTH and IPTV platforms, which is a confirmation of our activities and our approach to the market, which, as I have just said, consists from the best client service, best content, and versatility.
Well, finally, I was going to say, if we're here this time next year, how different do you think the marketplace will be?
Well, as I have just said, market evolves, definitely evolves, and this evolution is visible practically on every corner here. As you see, there is a merge of medias and merge of services. Many companies which within last years were close to some very isolated area or very isolated part of the chain on any broadcast change now to try to be good in everything. Therefore, I think that the market will be more and more competitive on multitasking base, and this evolution finally will create some huge new leaders. I consider few existing companies now which are prospective leaders of the future broadcast market in next, let's say, 10 years, but because I don't work for them, I would prefer not to name them.
We'd never make you do that.
Yeah.
But Marcin, thank you for what you have told us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. And we hope you enjoyed watching.